I have this little scrap of steel plate, so let's try and make a saw out of it. How hard can it be? First, there's a lot of layout to do. This is nothing too precise. I just use some rough angles, a 90 and about a 75 for the angled sides. This is just rough, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not working to any sort of measurements, just off the cuff. I used some tin snips just to cut this blank out. It was hard work, but it was better than using the hacksaw because, well, as you'll see, there's a lot of that later, and I just couldn't face it at this point. So now some more layout for the depth of the teeth. I used about 4mm. I'm sure there's actual proper ways of doing this. I didn't particularly care to look them up. I thought, yeah, I know enough, I can just get by. And, well, it cuts, so it kind of worked. But let me know if there is a proper way of doing it. Scribe marks about every quarter of an inch. That's, 40 that's a very rough blades, but this isn't going to be precise or anything. And I just didn't want to bother with messing around with tiny little teeth, and it's fine. So after sawing and establishing the side of the tooth, I don't know what it's called, I just filed down a rough 45 just to get the rough profile of each tooth. This took a while, about 3 minutes per tooth. Well, actually it wasn't that long, but the sounds that files make on this horrible thing, it's just dreadful. I hated every minute of it. Barring the sound, it was fine. Not a lot of work. It would have been easier with a larger triangular file. I don't know where I put mine. It's around somewhere, but the small one works. And I cut off the tip at the end because it didn't quite go well. It was a bit short, so I thought I'd just hack it off. And after some cleanup, I just took the blank, put it against some paper so there's more contrast, took a picture of it and put it into Fusion as a canvas so I could use that to model the saw handle. And the handle I just sort of modelled off of a normal panel saw, just a bit smaller, big enough for 2 fingers, and then I left a little indent on the bottom that I could rest another finger in. It's really simple, and it worked surprisingly well in the end. First try. I'm quite pleased. While it was printing, I actually looked into making saw teeth because I thought it's probably more technical than I think. So with the big file I jointed the teeth and then used the triangle file to put in the cutting angles. And if anyone has a tip on how to get rid of blue dye, I'm using it because I have no idea. Just please leave a comment. I've tried, this is acetone that I'm using, and it still takes ages to wipe off, and that's what should work, and it doesn't, and so please, just, if you do, let me know. Now, because I printed the handle with the slot for the saw already, I had to remove the supports, and I had the bright idea of using the saw blade itself, and it was tricky, it's just fiddly, and I only stabbed myself a bit, but it was out, and that's all that matters in the end. And now the blade's in, I'm just using the holes that are there in the handle already as a guide to drill holes for the screws that I'm going to put in. I didn't have 3 screws of the right length, these are just M4 machine screws, so I'm using long ones for now. I'll get some shorter ones, or cut these off, whatever, but it works fine. There's the first test of the saw to see if it actually works, and it did. This is just a piece of, I'm not sure what kind of wood, it's reclaimed off an old wardrobe thing, but it cut through and it worked fine, but it did bind up, and that's because the teeth weren't set yet. So now, time to set the teeth. And this is a nail set, which I had laying around. I'm not sure it was the perfect tool for the job, but it worked. And I was hitting a little too hard here at the start, because I've never done this before. But actually in the end, it all kind of worked out fine. I got used to it, and how hard I'd have to hit the actual teeth. And as you can see now, setting the teeth did warp the blade a little bit, so it's thin enough that I could just bend it back into shape, and it was fine. Now for the next cut, you can probably see already that it's biting in easier, but actually if you look at the difference in the curve, it's so much more different, there's so much more room, and you can feel that in the saw. It didn't bind at all, it works perfectly. And yeah, that's my mini panel saw. Completely unnecessary, I don't need it, I have bigger ones. I just thought it'd be a fun project, and it turned out surprisingly well. If I was going to do it again, I'd, well, as you can see, set the teeth a bit better, and possibly make a bigger hole in the handle, because I can get my fingers in past the first knuckle, but it'd be more comfortable to use it like this, and it's just a little bit too tight to do so. regardless, I'm quite pleased with this, and it was fun to make, so thanks for watching.